A Treasure Valley father says the Nampa School District denied his nonverbal autistic son a basic right, an education. His attorney says the family's fight exposes a much bigger problem in Nampa and across Idaho.
Your turn.
Want to look at your cards?
Uno.
Uno. You got blue?
Blue.
He's had a lot of challenges in life.
One more.
One more?
6.
He's always been just an upbeat kid. Loves sports, loves basketball. Ready? 3,
2, 1. Go!
Loves to draw, very meticulous in things that he does. He can build you, just out of complete memory, he can craft this entire neighborhood right here. He's just a really bright kid.
David Hunden's 17-year-old son Alex is nonverbal, autistic, has ADHD, Tourette's, and is a type 1 diabetic.
There's some pictures of Alex when he was younger. Alex with the red nose. I love that kid more than I love my own last breath. He deserves everything that he can possibly get.
Between hospital stays and treatment facilities, he's lived away from home for nearly 3 years.
Family is never the same when you're missing somebody from it. It's been very difficult to go through the past few years without him being here.
Alex now lives at Southwest Idaho Treatment Center, SWITC, a state-run stabilization facility for people with severe behavioral needs.
Alex's behavior became very challenging.
Glotch.
He can be physically aggressive and struggle to control his impulses, especially when trying to communicate.
Without the proper support or the help that we needed, we couldn't do anything. You know, and it pretty much puts things in a crisis mode.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Once Alex got to SWITC before the 2024 school year started, they enrolled him in the Nampa School District. But less than a week before the school year, the district said Alex wouldn't start out being educated at school. Instead, teachers would come to SWITC, a setup known as homebound instruction.
I didn't even know what homebound was until, I had gotten that phone call. And my son has always been in school.
The decision was made without involving the family, David says.
When people make decisions for your children without my consent or without my input, doesn't make me happy, because we still have full custody of our son, full parental rights.
Records provided to KTVB by the family show the district did not hold an IEP, Individualized Education Plan meeting, with the Hundens until weeks into the school year.
So we had 3 IEP meetings with no real luck on coming to an understanding. The first IEP meeting was pretty bad. Having to sit there for 45 minutes listening to people just paint your son as a monster.
David recorded their 3rd IEP meeting, where district leaders revealed they based Alex's placement on his address, not his abilities.
What's the basis for the district to decide, without an IEP team action, for him to be in a homebound setting?
He lives in a residential facility.
That doesn't mean least restrictive environments.
It actually does in our district.
The district pointed to Alex's documented history of aggression and running from school, drawing on records from his previous schools in Kuna and eastern Idaho.
We have some scenarios that we definitely have to make sure we're protecting that student and others for safety.
Alex's attorney says he received no education for the first 5 weeks of school. After that, just 1 to 2 hours a day. First at SWITC, then at Gateway's alternative school in Nampa. His attorney, Christian Beckett, says that's not the free and appropriate public education federal law requires. Under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, every child with a disability is entitled to a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. That means educated alongside non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate, with parents guaranteed a seat at the table.
Where a child may have some minor disabilities, some major disabilities, it is to provide supports and services to that child so that they can be educated alongside non-disabled peers. And that's what least restrictive environment means.
Beckett says the district never gave Alex a chance.
There wasn't a collaboration before involving David in the education of his son. They had already decided he's going to be in homebound, meaning he's going to be educated without any social interaction. And that's something that Alex really needed was social interaction. Because he's nonverbal, watching how other people communicate is essential for his ability to learn through modeling. They wanted him to prove his way in to be able to have an education, and that's just not how it's supposed to work.
Why is that? Elaborate on that a little bit.
Why it's not supposed to work that way? Because all children deserve to be educated. Even kids with disabilities, they shouldn't be discriminated against or excluded because they have a disability.
The Nampa School District says federal privacy law prevents them from discussing Alex's case specifically. But a spokesperson said in a statement, quote, "Decisions are made based on each student's unique needs with the goal of providing a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment." The Hundens filed formal complaints, triggering 2 due process hearings over the course of a year.
I promised myself a long time ago, and in the last few years, that I would fight and do whatever I needed to do to help my son to my last breath. He deserves every chance that every other kid gets.
In both cases, independent hearing officers denied their claims, finding Alex's consistent violent behavior made a part-time, structured placement appropriate, and the district's gradual approach to increasing school time was legally compliant. The hearing officer noted the district was, quote, open-minded in its placement considerations. Today, Alex attends school full-time at Gateways. David and his attorney believe that happened because of legal pressure.
Jeez. He's actually thriving in the environment that he's in right now. And this could have all been handled very easily from the very beginning.
No child should have to earn their right to an education.
Beckett has seen his special education cases statewide surge from 1 in 2023 to 7 in 2025. He blames the State Department of Education in part for not enforcing the IDEA or holding districts accountable. The department says decisions are made at the local level through collaboration between schools and families, and its role is to support that process. A spokesperson tells me, quote, "We take that responsibility seriously."
The more that we went to due process hearings, the more testimony, the more evidence that was put on the record, you see this pattern. And this pattern exists, and I don't believe it's just one school district. Right here, buddy. Boom. I'll stand and fight for whatever he needs in life to make sure that he has a chance in the future.
Right.
1. Oh. 6-6, look. I think. High five. Can I get a hug?
For the Hundens, Alex being in school full-time is not the end of the fight. They have appealed the due process hearing decisions and filed 2 federal lawsuits against the Nampa School District, one in August of 2025, another this January, arguing the damage done to Alex's education cannot simply be undone. They say he's entitled to additional schooling to make up for what he lost. Even Idaho's own superintendent acknowledges the system is underfunded. Debbie Critchfield recently estimated the gap between special education needs and available resources at around $100 million. The legislature just passed a bill creating a special education fund for high-needs students, but it's important to note that is not new money. It simply redirects $5 million already within the Department of Ed's budget. That bill was sent to the governor. Meantime, David says the ongoing budget pressures have real consequences for kids like Alex.
When I hear, a lot of this stuff going on with the budget, so we're going to cut this and cut that, the only people you're hurting are these kids. And the people that are on the front lines, the teachers, the people that have to deal with, with these situations every day. How do you expect them to do that if they don't have the resources or the funding to take care of the problems that they face with the kids?